And we continue now more with our live Hannity focus group with Frank Luntz in Kentucky. Tonight, Frank.
Well, let's start with the ads, because that's where these campaigns seem to start and stop. And I want to play for you one of Conway's ads, because it was very specific and explicit in attacking Rand Paul, and it didn't dial that well. Let's take a look.
More from Rand Paul.
The real answer to Medicare would be a $2,000 deductible.
A $2,000 deductible? Rand Paul wants us to pay $2,000 just to get Medicare?
That's crazy. I can't afford that.
The real answer to Medicare would be a $2,000 deductible.
I don't know what planet he's from.
Rand Paul is off the wall with a $2,000 deductible.
Doesn't he know that we can't afford that?
The more we hear about Rand Paul, the worse it gets.
So you've got the issue now of Conway attacking Rand Paul, but not really talking about where he stands. We've tested one of Rand Paul's ads, and Sean, this is one of the most favorable responses of the entire campaign cycle. Let's take a look.
How do we defeat the Washington machine? First, send career politicians home by enacting term limits. Next, require Congress to read the bills they vote on. Then stop wasteful spending by requiring a balanced budget by law. Stop lobbyists from taking our tax dollars and then using that money to lobby for more. Most importantly, expand our liberty by downsizing big government. I'm Rand Paul, and I approve this message because government is the servant, not the master.
So let's hear, and we've got some Conway people that want to be heard. Tom, I'm starting with you.
Well, Jack Conway has held a political office in the state of Kentucky for some time. He has done things to where people can be critical of him. But he attacked the pharmaceutical companies. He went after the oil companies when they were gouging. Rand Paul's a guy that's coming out of Bowling Green, ain't done nothing but be an eye doctor for 27 years and has done nothing political.
Denise.
Okay, Rand Paul says for the $2,000 Medicare deductible, how can you, most of the people that's on Medicare are seniors, people that can't afford. How are you going to place a $2,000 deductible on people that can't afford it?
Go ahead.
Just the ads that you're showing, they don't equate. They're apples and oranges. You've got a negative ad for Conway and a positive ad for Rand Paul.
Collected all of the ads, just as we showed you, two different debates. I'm going to ask you one more time to make it clear for everyone at home. You watched two different debates. Who was the more negative candidate? Who says Rand Paul was the more negative candidate? Raise your hands. One. Who says that Jack Conway is the more negative candidate, including people voting for Conway? You want to?
I just wanted to respond to the Medicare thing. Rand Paul has said that that would not affect anybody who's on Medicare currently. That's going to be something in the future, and at least he's being proactive, because when it runs out, when all the money's gone, there's not going to be a debate anyway.
Go ahead.
If it's not going to affect people, it will affect people on Medicare currently, because if it's going to be a $2,000 deductible, that's affect people that's on Medicare.
Go ahead.
That's on Medicare, period. That's being paid people that's on Medicare currently, and that's going to be on Medicare.
Go ahead.
In the
all we're doing is scaring senior citizens. They do this every election cycle. But the point is that they're not going to just say $2,000 deductible tomorrow. It's got to be grandfathered in. There's going to take some time. We've got a mess on our hands with Medicare. It's going to take time to get it under control. But to just keep beating at the seniors, that's wrong. Just wrong.
Sean, you want to ask a question of our group?
Yeah, I do, especially as it relates to these ads. I was watching very closely. I think the Conway ad among Democrats, his own party, his highest rating among Democrats was 53. Rand Paul among Democrats, you know, Republican, he got more Democrats. I think it was up to, what, a little over 70 at one point in his positive ad. So it seems to me, just based on the ads and the perception from tonight's debate, that Rand Paul is in a very good position, as of tomorrow, 3 weeks outside of this election.
Well, why do you all think that Conway, and I've watched the discussion, why do you think that Conway's been going after Rand Paul?
You can't take one clip out of a video, like on the ad, like Alan Grayson did in Florida. You got Conway doing it here. Take one 10-second increment of a video, and then you make a point about it, and you can't do it.
Conway sounds like every other politician has come along. He's just mimicking Clinton and Obama and everything. He's slick, and that's it. But the other guy, he owns a business. He knows. He's coming from the grassroots.
He's trying to be proactive.
And I think the other thing is that Rand Paul's actually taking a stand. He's offering suggestions, which we hear on one side they keep complaining we're not hearing any suggestions, and as soon as they do, they just attack them instead of actually having a debate.
I also feel that there's a section of videos that are not being displayed this evening by special interest groups that make Rand Paul as negative or even more negative than Jack Conway, and we didn't see those.
I think the country doesn't like career politicians.
Well, I think Jack Conway's like a lot of other Democrats around the country. He's behind. He has been behind. He's trying to catch up, and he's not going to, say he's behind Obama's policies.
So I just got one last question. There's only about 20 days left. Do you want them to say what's wrong with their opponent, or do you want them to say what's right with themselves? So it's almost unanimous. Sean, there is a message here that these candidates should be listening to. In the closing days and hours of the campaign, they should be focused on what they're for and not focused on what their opponents are against. And that's the way that they're going to communicate in the way that the American people want. Am I correct? Listen to the American people, Sean.
Always listen to the people. Frank Luntz, appreciate you being with us. Some people forget that they're actually there to serve the American people. And coming up, the Democrats are targeting